So to exist in the life, we have to depend on something. Okay. So this is the body where we are traveling in, and everyone has their own destiny. Ultimately, it's the same destiny. We have different paths. So to in this travel, in this journey, we have to take care of the body. So for that, like how we see whether air is there, petrol is there in the vehicle, like that we have to check, keep checking our vehicle, how healthy is it. In fact, health was gifted by God, but we have complicated it. Now we know, like there are many hospitals for humans, whereas if you see animals, there are no hospitals. In fact, there are animal hospitals, animals for those who are dependent on humans. Otherwise, animals in the wild, they don't have any hospitals, right? So why do we have to go to hospitals? Like, why is our health getting spoiled? Why we are becoming unhealthy? So what could be the reason of us being unhealthy? Food habits, okay. Sleep. Yes, moderation in everything, yeah. So if you come to food habits, like even animals are eating, birds are eating, even humans are eating. So what is that difference where humans are doing? Like what is the thing which humans are doing because of which they are getting ill health in the food? What are animals eating? What are humans eating?
They are crossing way too much. Natural form, they are taking food in natural form.
Yes. So if you come to this point, what is the nature prescribed food? Like nature, what does the nature has prescribed for human beings?
Fruits and vegetables, leaves.
Yeah. So there is a point. So we are actually meant to eat fruits, basically fruitarians, not even all vegetables again. There are some fruit vegetables like cucumbers and tender gourds. Even tomato is fruit vegetable. So there are some vegetables which we can consume. Mostly we are fruitarians. And even if you come to greens, again tender greens, few greens. Again greens have oxalic acids in them. Even vegetables, all vegetables will not suit for us. So if you see like that, there are many species on the earth for which for whom food also depend for them. But what we have done is we have captured everyone's food. So now what are we eating? We are eating grains, mostly processed food. Apart from grains, we are eating mostly processed food. So preserved food, junk food, processed food. So if you keep that aside, so the next level is at least cooked food, but we are cooking them. So what we are cooking? We are cooking grains, we are cooking vegetables. So anything if we cook, are we not killing the life in it? Yes. So in nature, if you see fruits, they are also cooked by sun. Okay, solar cooked. So they also have a stage. So for a suppose if you take a mango, from the raw stage to the ripened stage, it will take at least 3 months. So it's cooked by the microbes and sun. Basically, it will take some time for them to get ripened. So if you take grains, so we cook the grains. If you take vegetables, in fact, we overcook the vegetables. So now everyone are dependent on pressure cookers at home. Maybe few might have switched to pots. So if you are cooking in pressure cookers, so what's the thing which we do is we mix up grains, lentils and vegetables together and we cook them so that it's easy job, so that we can watch television and the job will be done by the pressure cooker. Or we may be also busy in other things. It's not just everyone will just stick on to the TV, but it's happening. So now what happens here, when you cook everything in the pressure cooker, greens or vegetables will take lesser time. So lentils and grains will take little more time. So now what's happening here, the vegetables are getting overcooked if you are keeping along with the rice and dal. So that is one point. So by overcooking we are losing the nutrients. So basically we are eating food to get the nutrients. So by first of all cooking will denature, so overcooking will more denature. So that is the way, that's why we are losing the nutrients. Okay. Now the other part, if you cook any lentil like grain, suppose tur dal, kandipappu. So olden days when they were cooking the grain, they used to get a scum on top. Remember? Anyone knows? So those are actually saponins from the lentils. So they used to separate that scum. So now in the pressure cooker, it's not possible to separate that. So what is the saponins? Why are they present in the grain means? Grain itself is a seed. So the purpose of seed is to grow back into a plant. Okay. But what we have done is we have intervened in its nature and we have accepted, like we have taken it as a food. So if you are taking whole grain, so and cooking, so there will be more, like any grain will have a protective layer. So that chemical compounds, natural chemical compounds will be protecting that grain not to sprout or to grow into a plant in an unfavorable condition. Okay. So right favorable condition for any seed is, first thing is moisture, then soil and sunlight. So now traditionally our people, what they used to do is they used to soak the grain. It may be rice or lentil. So when they soak the grain, the anti-nutrients, actually the protective chemical components which are called as anti-nutrients, will be released into the water. Then they used to discard that water and then cook in fresh water. So when you do that, there will be no scum formed at least. So when you just cook directly, then there will be lot of saponins, that scum will come. So we have to remove it. So if you are not removing that and consuming it, you get gastric problems. So in pressure cooker, it's not possible. So that is one thing. So if we are eating white rice, okay. If suppose now recently people have switched over to millets and brown rice or red rice, but we were eating white rice. So now what's wrong in eating white rice? We were eating since many years. We didn't had any problem in past, but recently there are many people who are suffering from diabetes and obesity and other things because they are eating white rice. So if you come to that point, any grain has complex carbohydrates. Basically they have starch. So basically we need sugars for our body's sustenance. So if you take fruits, does fruit has every nutrient which we require, like not just one fruit, all fruits together? Not all. What is it lacking? What are the fruits lacking? Carbohydrates, proteins, then fats. So otherwise everything is there. What else is there then? Like it is lacking vitamins, lacking, or it's there? It's there. Okay. So it's lacking carbohydrates, proteins and fats. So only vitamins are there? Fiber is there. And what else is there? Sugar. So do we require carbohydrates?
Sugar is already there.
So actually when you consume any of the carbohydrates, it will break up into sugar, glucose. So already there are fructose in the fruit which is easily digestible. So do we require carbohydrates in that case when we are having sugars directly? No. So if we come to protein, so protein are amino acids. So amino acids are actually there in its vital form in the fruit, vital amino acids. So basically proteins will break down into amino acids in the body. Okay. So already fruits have amino acids. So then fats. Fruit has lipids, fatty acids. Actually fruit has everything which is meant for us. But now what is the problem to consume fruit? Can we just live on fruit now? What's the problem? Is there any problem to just live on fruits?
They are not organic.
Okay. Suppose I will supply you organic fruits for the same price. It may be chemical free. So will it be sufficient? Will you get all the nutrients? So here what's happening here is soil got depleted in its life form. So we may be growing organic fruits and vegetables. So to make the soil revival, it takes time. You need soil microbial activity to bring that nutrients to that fruit or vegetable. Okay. So we'll just talk about nature nutrient cycle here. So any plant, there is no one fruit where all the nutrients are available. We have to eat diversified fruit to get diversified vitamins or minerals. Okay. Sugars are quite common in fruits. So every plant or a tree or a shrub or a weed is tuned to particular frequency. So they can absorb those nutrients from the nature. Okay. You know photosynthesis, photons, light particles, when they fall, like plants will synthesize them complex structure into simpler forms. So in this process, every plant or a weed or a tree will be tuned to particular frequencies, and they can absorb only those frequencies, so that they can fix only those nutrients in the plant. Like we humans, how we need all the nutrients for our survival, even plant itself requires all the nutrients. So now where does it get from, where does it get other nutrients from? So one plant can fix some particular nutrients. So one other plant can fix some nutrients, like it can absorb some nutrients. Now there is a sharing between nutrients by the plants. How it is possible? So here those weeds or plants or fruit, any like all these individually, they are also food for other beings like cattle. So now cattle interference will like they consume these weeds or grasses, okay, as their food. Like suppose goats or sheep, they eat away the leaves. So they consume them, and it's a food for them basically. So they, when they poop down, that again will become fertility for the soil, and that is converted by the microbes. So those all nutrients will be fixed in that soil. Now that will be shared among other plants. Now there are big trees where its roots go deep deep beneath the earth. So all these top minerals, all these nutrients, over a period of time they condense down and become metal and bedrocks inside the earth crust. So there are big trees where they are getting all those minerals back again to the topsoil. So that is again helped by those microbes. So microbes will help to give those minerals back to the tree. In turn, the tree will give sugars for them to those microbes. So that will be absorbed by the big trees, okay, and it will be supplied to the fruit or vegetable. Or when the leaf fall happens again, 30% will be in the fruit and vegetable, 70% will be there in the leaves and trunk and other things. So when they fall back, when the leaf fall down, so that becomes again topsoil. So that is the minerals and nutrients on the topsoil. So this is the cycle. So in this ecosystem, there are many other species, like along with humans, animals. So they all are getting their share. Okay. So that should be the way to cultivate any of your vegetable or fruit. So that is possible actually in forest. This type of cycle can be there in the forest. So the same can be implemented.
That is natural farming, that is not organic farming.
That is natural farming, that's what. So that is not organic farming. So the same thing can be implemented in our own farms. Suppose we have farms, we can implement the similar method, just mimicking the nature. We can grow food forest. It's very simple. So now what is the modern practice of agriculture is, they are just cutting down the trees. Like we need grain of rice or millet. For that they have to cut down the trees, they have to cultivate the land, dig the soil, sow the seeds, and grow the crop. After that also we cannot consume it. Birds can consume it. They have to harvest it, process it, then get the grains, then cook it, assimilate, like then consume it, digest, assimilate, and then struggle for its consequences also. So this is all the process happening. So if possible, if you have space, even 300 yards or 100 yards or 150 yards, whatever space you have, if you have, just grow food forest. Just you will get all the nutrients whatever you require. If you don't have space, you may be having terrace space, at least you can grow greens and some vegetables, if not all fruits, at least greens and vegetables. Even if you don't have access to terrace, if you are not able to grow, you may have balconies, at least you can grow greens. So why I am telling at least, because weekly once at least we can, if we get access to organic like naturally grown such things, body has a healing mechanism. It can detox. We are not giving time for it. We are not supplying the nutrients to it. So if this is also not possible, we can depend on the people who are growing in such way, and we can have an exchange. Like we can help them, they will help us in producing. And yeah, everyone cannot directly go to the farms and get their produce. So there will be intermediate people who will be again helping us to get the produce and supplying us. So this is whole cycle. But this way of growing is very much important. So not everyone is growing such way. So we have to encourage people to grow the food in such way. And depending on our needs, even farmers will grow. Like if you are asking millets, now you know like how crazy people are behind millets. So now you are not even able to get the millets. There is no supply now. So now in future, when there is a demand, slowly everyone starts growing millets, and maybe at one particular time you may get that supply.
మరిన్ని అప్డేట్స్ కోసం ఎస్టీవీ యూట్యూబ్ ఛానల్ ని సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేసుకోండి.